Hello, I'm Steven, the calculator guy, and today we're going to talk about Olympus version 2. So I know a lot of you are interested in Ohm, or already Ohm holders, or stakers, or 3-3ers, or 9-9ers, or 4-4ers with bonds. Regardless of who you are, big changes are coming for Olympus, and big changes may be coming for what is now referred to as DeFi 2.0. So let's get into it. The first big changes they've mentioned is governance. So they're going for a Guardian multisig to eventually on-chain governed bonding. And that's going to be pretty interesting. On-chain governed treasury as well. So you have on-chain governance over the treasury and over the bonding. This is great. This is what you want. This is semi-trustless. Okay, so on-chain governance will occur through the GOHM token. Previously, the wrapped SOHM or the WSOHM. Users can now stake directly into and out of GOHM, saving precious time and gas. So this is great, right? One less transaction. You can stake directly into and out of GOHM, which is the governance token, which is really good because then you, instead of going from a staking, which is which accrues a gas fee, to then switching your SOHM to WSOHM, which is another gas fee, you can skip the second step and just do those one gas fee. So go straight from staking with GOHM to unstaking with OHM. Wonderful. This is good news. Okay, so bonds. This, I think, is the biggest, definitely the biggest change. Yeah. So much happening here. First thing, bond payouts are staked at the time of purchase. Okay, what does that mean? This means, I don't know if any of you have ever bonded before with Ohm or minted with time, which is another example. But what this means is that as soon as you bond, your payout, the amount that you bonded, is staked immediately, which accrues rewards immediately, right? Those rebases. It's amazing. So this means that any greater than 0% discount will outperform staking. So you really have to understand what that means. Generally, right now, if you look at, let me just go to Ohm. Olympus. Right now, if you do bonding, you will know that whenever this number is lower than, oh, fine. Let me switch networks really quick. Whenever the bond percent is lower than the 5-day ROI percent, it does not make sense to bond. It makes more sense to stake and accrue this, because this is the savings you would have over 5 days. So what is changing with this is that you will immediately stake your bonded Ohm, which means you will get those rebases over 5 days. So anything over 0%, anything that's positive, is just additional APR, APY, technically, that you will be getting. So you're getting discounted Ohm that's staked immediately. This is great for the bonding ecosystem. However, this means that you're probably very rarely going to see the rates go very far above 0% or above 0% at all. But we'll see what happens. So this could be amazing for the liquidity as a service. So I'm excited about this. Next, bonds no longer vest linearly. What this means is that you can't take out your bonded Ohm over the period of 5 days or however long it's going to be. Rather, you have to wait until the vesting period is over to redeem your Ohm. So let's say you buy a bond that has a 5-day expiration period. That bonded Ohm immediately stakes, and then after 5 days, then you can redeem that Ohm, which you got for a discount and which also accrued 15 rebases in that time. I think this is a great upgrade to the bonding system. So the illiquidity is enabled by staking bond payouts, and it creates a form of locked staking. So here, locked staking just means that you can't take out the ohm that you bonded until that period is over. Unlike now, where you can claim a portion of the bonded ohm over 5 days, right? So over 1 day, you can claim 20%, and then 2 days, then another 20% until you get to 100% on the 5th day. You could take it out linearly. Now, it's going to be locked in there until the period's over. And yes, it will save ohmies money by removing the incentive to incur wasteful gas transactions through frequent redemption. Because right now, if you bonded, tens of thousands of dollars, you may want to claim and then stake so that you start getting the rebases on your bonded ohm. But you're paying $70 to $140 in gas every time you're doing that. Now that goes away because you're automatically getting those rebases. You just have to wait until the bond expires for you to claim that ohm. All right, new bond types are created as isolated offerings. This is kind of interesting. Okay, so each bond type has a maximum amount of ohm that can be paid, or maximum amount of principal that can be purchased. So in this case, right, if you're bonding if you're in the bonding marketplace, that's the principal. I think there was a MIM, for example. No, Olympus Pro. Bonds marketplace. Okay, so this would be the principal in this case, and these would be the bonds. So here where it says there is a maximum amount of ohm that can be paid, or a maximum amount of principal, the thing you receive, that can be purchased. And once exceeded, the bond is retired. So the bond is done. Like it's served its purpose in providing liquidity for whomever is after that liquidity. All parameters of the bond are set in stone after initialization. This improves budgeting and immutability, definitely. Okay, so here's a weird one. Bonds can be held as NFTs. They can't now. So there may be a secondary bond market. So I'm assuming there's going to be something like Olympus Pro, where it's sort of a subsection of the website ecosystem where bonds will be sold. I really think all of this would be best done on a chain that didn't have a lot of gas fees, because what this is going to do is encourage, multimillionaires and people maybe moving around hundreds of thousands of dollars to benefit from these. But anyone who's investing less than $25,000 in this is probably not going to see massive benefits from a secondary bond market of NFTs. But I could be wrong. I'm super bullish on the idea of ohm being cross-chain, which is why I like time so much. In fact, I love time because I can benefit in many of the ways that the whales can benefit on ohm, because the fees are virtually non-existent. And I know ohm is talking with multiple chains, and I think we're going to get to why I'm so interested in this stuff down here in a second. So bonds can be fixed term or fixed expiration. Basically what this means is either a bond can be, you must bond for 5 days. So remember, you bond, it immediately stakes your ohm that you bought with that bond, and then in 5 days you can redeem that ohm. Or fixed expiration, which is pretty interesting. So in this case, there is a set date that the bond expires. So let's say let's say in 10 days a bond expires, and you bond now. So your bond will be vesting for 10 days. But if someone buys 5 days from now and they bond 5 days from now, they will only be vesting for 5 days because there's a fixed expiration date on that bond. So fixed term means everyone gets the same vesting time. Fixed expiration means there's a date where that particular bond expires regardless of when you bonded. All right, cool. And fixed expiration bonds can be wrapped into a fungible token and traded like any ERC20. This is interesting. I am interested in seeing the secondary bond marketplace, because if this ends up being a thing, then DeFi 2.0 I think is really going to take off. But I can't wrap my mind around the vision yet. But I've never worked within a protocol and understood the needs of liquidity specifically from a large protocol perspective. So we'll see how this works. We'll see how Tokamak is also going to do their thing. Very interested in DeFi 2.0. Bonds offer front-end reward, which will incentivize third parties to run front ends for Olympus, reducing single point of failure risks. Cool. Okay. Audit. All new contracts will be audited. So they say, what was it? Within 4 weeks. So that would be cool. Because what that means is that anytime within the next 2 to 3 months, we could see this big migration happening, this big Olympus 2.0, which leads us to migration. So migration is going to require a totally new set of smart contracts, which means you need to replace all existing contracts, including the OHM token. So what I foresee happening is there's OHM token, and then there's going to be a new OHM token just on a different contract, and you're going to have to bridge it over, and then you'll have the new OHM token. Maybe it's going to be a gas fee, maybe an unstaking fee, and then gas fee to transfer to the next OHM token, which, considering how good OHM is done, I think it'll be worth to do, but it's going to be, annoying because it's Ethereum, and Ethereum gas fees are ridiculous. And if you're bridging hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe that gas is going to be painful. So migrating will require some coordination, but it's going to be as time insensitive, so they're going to give you plenty of time. The process will be described in depth in the future, but they're going to have a roughly 2 month window to migrate without missing rewards. This is good. You're going to have 2 months window. If you're in OHM, you're probably watching this stuff pretty focused. So you'll have 2 months to migrate your OHM to this new OHM, and you will miss no rewards, which is cool. So you'll continue benefiting from staking. After this window, you can still migrate. However, some rewards will be forfeited, probably because the rebasing will stop being supported on the current OHM ecosystem and will only be supported on the new OHM ecosystem. So that's what I imagine will happen. Migrating will be a single transaction, should not... Right, but I imagine, well, it'd be really cool if you could migrate your SOHM, right? Then you would have your staked OHM migrate to being staked somewhere else. If they can do that, I think that would be amazing. So hopefully that's what they're going for. Because that would just be one transaction. Partial liquidity will remain for OHM v1 while migration is in process to facilitate the movement of borrowers. Right, so I think that's what they're talking about, that 2 months. So you're going to have a 2 month buffer where you can still maintain rebase rewards on OHM version 1 before that stops entirely, and you'll have to be on OHM v2 to continue getting rebase rewards. Okay, so the goal is to become fully trustless, governance minimized environment in the coming months. Yeah, I think that is very much their goal, and really focusing on bonds as a service and liquidity as a service / owning your own liquidity. This is going to be interesting. So again, major changes in governance, going from multi-sig to on-chain governance. Then bonding being staked immediately, which I love. This is awesome. Hope Time takes a note here. Hope Clima starts off like this or considers doing it. And then you get to take your earnings out whenever the vesting period is over. This is great. It's just really good. I like this a lot. The not vesting linearly, no big deal. Right. New bonds, isolated offerings, bonds as NFTs, secondary bond marketplace. We'll see how that plays out. I don't see the vision yet, but it's exciting. And then fixed term and fixed expiration, 2 different bond types. One of them, set period of days that you need to bond for or vest for. The other one, you vest until a certain date, specific date. And then bonding for that particular token is over, or bonding for that particular principle is over. Audits coming. it's Ohm, it's Olympus. If they were going to rug pull, they would have done it already. So I think the only thing that audits will do is they'll look for any vulnerabilities in the new contracts. And I think they're going to do that before they roll out Ohm v2, which is why I think we have like a 2 to 3 month timeline on this. And then migration, new token. That's the biggest one, right? So we're going to have a 2-month window to migrate to this new token in this new these new contracts, new set of smart contracts. So that's Olympus 2.0 in a nutshell. Love it, hate it, that's what it is. So there were a few things that I didn't fully understand, so I didn't try to over-explain them. So like I don't fully understand the Guardian multisig versus on-chain govern. I imagine that has something to do with DAO governance versus, you know, a set of particular founders or particular members who are part of the multisig. But I don't know. If you understand that better than I do, please leave an explanation down in the comments. That would be awesome. Additionally, bonds offer a front-end reward. If anyone could explain why this is important or relevant or what this really means, I would also be grateful for that. Incentivizing third parties to run front ends for Olympus, reducing some single point. I don't necessarily understand how bonds do that. So, and then that's it. I think everything else was explained pretty clearly. Or if you can see how bonds as NFTs is going to be a great idea. How, you know, if you get a 1% discount on Ohm via bonding, how selling that 1% discounted bond to someone else is going to be hot in the market. Please go ahead and explain it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. And 334499, your choice.